Okay, and then we further processed photography as an art form in general, and then photography as a representative of the entity and the essence of things that you're passionate about, that you have to pause or put on hold, or keep as dormant dreams because of the fact that we're navigating so many things. So we agreed that fear of not producing what people will like was an issue, but also realizing that you had to a point of appreciation and amplification, that you didn't want to participate in that exploitation of yourself as an artist, because when you take a photography job in the spaces where things are very superficial, the client in question would be wanting an image, a capturing based on their vantage point, their superficial vantage point, not on your raw artist perspective, not from your raw artist perspective and vantage point, and then that makes you lose your connection with the art of photography. And then we agreed, like I said, that that was also synonymous in different aspects of life, like just being an artist in general, being a raw being in general, being a sensitive being in general. You will realize that there are many times where you can give it to yourself that I've been making the right decisions when I've been making that executive decision in my life about I'm not going to allow myself to be exploited, because you are asking us to partner, you're coming at me asking us to partner, you're asking for my service, but you don't really want what I am giving. You want me to do this in this way. And there are spaces where those things can connect. However, if it doesn't connect, it's very important that you trust yourself and don't pretend that you are connecting to it. So that was very good that you were able to make that connection. And then you actually said, I've come to realize that I love taking photos of people in their zone, like these candid shots of people and in natural element, and that's not usually what people are asking for. So unless that is what is being requested, you know, it's not, it's not in resonance. So then we also had, it's exploitive to mass produce photography, you know, like it's not an assembly line of okay, click, let's pose, let's click, let's pose, let's click. Like that is disrespectful to self as an artist, and again across the board in different spaces of passion. Then we ended that part of the conversation and consciously decided to, when I asked you, you said yes, we're going to move into discussing the connection to the person who had passed on. And then I asked you, like, how are you feeling, like, in this moment before we begin the processing? And you said, I feel like I'm in the same place. And you described it as just feeling weird, like meeting him at first just felt weird, but then you realize you liked him a lot, that he was a fisherman, and the fact that he would bring things for you, that your significant other had asked him to look out for you and check for you, but you realize he didn't have to do that. And we processed how that can feel, like losing someone who didn't even have to help you. So then I noted that I would, on that note, I would give you information about the stages of grief, and that we could process that over time, but I wanted to at least address it a little bit today. So I did send you that picture just to see the flowchart of the stages of grief. And so we want to move beyond the denial of it and begin to start facing it, but that things take the time they take, and we want to allow them to, and allow it to gestate in us. You spoke about that you had seen him a week before, a week and a half before he had passed, and that your significant other had called the night that he had passed and said that his mom had asked for you because she had realized that he had never been that kind of person who saved things for people, and you kept wondering like why there's nothing going on, there's like, you know, we didn't have any significant connection, like physical significant connection to speak on, no reference points, so it confused you, and that the funeral had just passed and that you weren't able to make it, and that upset you, that affected you, and that you kept saying that there's nothing special, that you all were the same sign, if it made any sense to me and if it mattered to me, and we processed that as far as, yes, it made complete sense to me, and I asked you your birthday just for a side note for my knowledge. So from that space of the connection of the birthday, I made the connection of the fact that many things make sense to you, and it always comes down to what makes sense. What makes sense to you can only make sense to you by your vantage. If you happen to connect with someone who's like, yeah, that makes total sense to me, well, okay, that's a bonus, but ultimately you're coming from the fact that you're coming from your vantage point. So the ultimate is what makes sense to you, and taking ownership of that and practicing that. And from that space, you said that everything that I had explained to you about grieving the loss of the connection of someone who didn't have to do something, who did, brought you into the space of the fact that your son's father is a fisherman and he doesn't do that. So that was another thing important to draw out. And it puts you in a space of, I give way too much to be receiving not enough from people who I do give to, and to have lost the one person who was giving me for no reason, and to allow yourself to grieve on that level. So we spoke about the fact that this person who has passed on is highlighting in a very if it's only on a surface level, their passing is highlighting your relationships with other people, because there was nothing physical to put to prove a big connection between you, yet still here we are talking about them. I also encourage you to own and celebrate your relationship with people who have passed on, remembering that there are different ways to connect with that, and I shared with you the way I connect with that, and just allow yourself to explore or create a ritual or create a form of something that signifies the remembrance of that, of their effect, the positive effect on you, the fact that you are deserving, period.